Hello and welcome to another episode of Put Me in Coach on episode 62, Diamondbacks versus Dodgers, Game 4. Starting lineup of today, Kento Marte is back to play second base. And then we mostly now are seeing, I think Vargas is back to play first base, something like that. Perdomo is in the seventh line in the lineup and stop playing shortstop. So it's very interesting enough of now they're changing for Perdomo not be in the third or the first and stuff because yesterday he was number one and now today he's number seven. So it's very interesting of they're doing some little different here and there and stuff. Just see enough of what he could do in the down of the lineup and stuff. And fortunately enough, he did pretty good and stuff. And then Jose Fernandez as DH and stuff. And I'm thinking the rest is exactly the same and stuff. And then fortunately enough, Pavin Smith came in to play first base in the top of the fifth because of Vargas kind of collide with Max Muncy at first. Hopefully enough, both of them are okay. It looked like Vargas is fine. He's like happy, smiling, having a good time now. Before the game, after the game, I meant to say, and stuff. But hopefully enough, Max Muncy is also good and stuff because it was a horrible collision and stuff. And they both look very went down really hard and stuff, and we don't want to see that. And hopefully everybody's all right and stuff. And then even enough, Max Muncy gave like Vargas like a gif or something. I don't know what it was, but some gif. I don't know. Some weird things are happening and stuff. So that's why Pavin Smith came to first. He also came up to bat as well. Just to bat for I think that's what it is and stuff. And then somehow Jorge Baroza came in to pitch hit as well, just pitch hit and stuff. So that's basically of that. And then top of the ninth, Adrian Del Casio came in to play first base because Jorge Baroza came in to hit for Pavin Smith. So that's why for him to come in at that time for Smith, for him to go out for Adrian Del Casio to come in to play first base instead. So that's basically all the difference of that. We did good today. I think we did a lot better than the other days and of it. I get about, game two was a little struggle here and there and stuff. We were very close to winning the game. I get about game three of yesterday was most of the big struggles we had against the Dodgers because of Shohei pitched yesterday and stuff. And then fortunately enough, going out there today enough to try to go for the split against the Dodgers, and I'm feeling they want to win super bad and stuff. So the bat was alive today and stuff, and the only people who did not really get a base hit is Gabe Marino and Vargas. Obviously he left at the game later on and stuff, and then Smith and Barossa also did not get a base hit, but the rest did and stuff. So you like to see that more and stuff. Corbin Carroll went 3 for 4, so that was huge and stuff. Ryan Walshman went 2 for 4. Perdomo went 2 for 4. So fortunately enough, the 7 line in the lineup actually really helped up him so much and stuff. So good to see the batting is doing well today and stuff. Like I get about who's pitching and all those typical things and stuff, but they just need to go out there and just work hard. I think that's the most biggest thing they gotta do and stuff. Doesn't matter now who's pitcher and who's on the other side of the team. They just gotta go out there and play their game and stuff. And so that's mostly really showed today and stuff. We mostly struggle a lot, but at the very ending and stuff, that's where the game kind of lit up more for the Diamondbacks and stuff. Pitching wise, enough. Starting pitcher for the Diamondbacks, Ryan Nelson. He went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits, struck out 3, walked 2, and gave up 2 runs. So he did really, really good and stuff. There was little issues here and there, especially to Vargas collision with Max Muncy a little bit here and there and stuff. Got a little heated up a little bit, but I think he did okay in a way and stuff. Better than performance than last time against the Mariners and stuff, because that game we pretty much got lit up a little hard from the Mariners and stuff. And that was the time when Brand Rue did really good against us and stuff. So really good performance from Nelson and stuff. Dodgers pitcher Justin Wormelski, Rabalski. It's hard to say these names. He went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, struck out 4, none walk, and gave no runs. So he did also pretty good. I think it was a really good matchup with Nelson as well and stuff. So enough of the Dodgers got a little bit on Nelson, and the Diamondbacks also got on Justin as well and stuff. So just seeing enough of both sides of the offense were pretty good enough to of it. I thinking it was 0-0 for a very, very long time. So we had a really good pitching duo overall. It's sense enough after the Dodgers start scoring in the beginning and stuff. So they both did really, really good in their own ways and stuff. But I think in some ways, bats were kind of slid in there and stuff, and we can actually do some damage against the Dodgers and stuff. And then bullpen for the Diamondbacks, Brandon Garcia and Paul Sewald, and that's basically it and stuff. And it's weird enough of Paul Sewald came in when it was tied game and stuff. So to me, of enough in a way. I guess of enough of now we mostly seen of when 2 times enough of Paul Sewald came in to pitch in the 9th inning when it's tied game. We mostly lose the game and stuff, but somehow enough, I think he just, I don't know, maybe he's in the zone and he's getting strikeouts, some outs, just helping the team up a little bit and stuff here and there and stuff. So it's good to see him not giving so much and stuff, and he's locked in every single time. Doesn't really matter what's the score, what inning it is, and stuff. Obviously it was the 9th inning. It was tie game up and stuff. So for him to absolutely just go out there and be dominated is pretty well enough. I would not put him in a tie game situation in the 9th inning and stuff, but I'm not Tory, so that's the other thing about that. It's just like I have no control from this, but hopefully enough of if he wants to go out there of enough, he got to work his butt off and stuff, and mostly enough he's been doing that. So we got to have that positive in him and stuff, and he's doing a good job of doing his job in a way and stuff. So hopefully he capitalized on that a little bit more and stuff, especially enough what we need to save and the win and stuff, and he has done that before. We're gonna have mistakes here and there and stuff, but fortunately we don't want to make mistakes and stuff. So it's good to see him to go out there and get the job done and stuff. Especially enough, he got the last strikeout and stuff, and he was pumped, So totally understand that, tied up, got the last out, try and think enough of like, oh yeah, it's bottom of the 9th, let's try to win this game, love that attitude and stuff. So that's pretty much it. And again, bullpen is doing so well and stuff. We're gonna go scoring right now and stuff. Not really a lot of scoring so much, but fortunately enough, I will absolutely talk all of the scoring and stuff. They're not really like bogey scoring at all and stuff. They're actually like real hits here and there and stuff. Ryan Ward hit a RBI double to make it 1-0 top of the 5th and stuff. I literally thought this was actually be a catch and stuff because this was the time where this was Vargas and Max Muncy collision and stuff, and there was a thing where enough of people were a little mad at Ryan Nelson because he did not go to first at this time, and and so fortunately for Vargas to go to first and stuff, having that collision at first base with Max Muncy, I'm going to say, sorry, my words and stuff. Uh, yeah, so sorry, I'm having a little bit hard time with this. Um, he just didn't get there at that time and stuff. So I don't know. The Diamondbacks were mad on him and stuff. I understand like Mark Reyes and uh, Jody Jackson was talking about it and stuff. Typical things here and there and stuff. He didn't do his job. I understand he messed up. He felt bad enough, especially enough of the collision actually happened and stuff. We don't want to see our teammates and even other people from the other side of the team as well to get hurt as well. So fortunately, we don't like that and stuff. And totally understand from Nelson part in a way and stuff. So it's just of that, where enough of like it was just a hard read of it and stuff. I personally enough, I wish of enough of Vargas was not getting injured. Same thing with Max Muncy in a way and stuff. I wish he just let Muncie to be just safe and not really had that collision and stuff, because fortunately enough for the collision, Max Muncie was actually safe at first. So that was another biggest thing enough it. Like he was going to be safe anyways. Like, so it really doesn't even matter if the collision or not and stuff. Max Muncie would be safe anyways. So that's where enough of like I wish it just didn't really happen and stuff. And then after that, the hit from Ryan Ward and stuff, it was weird because like it went straight to Corbin Carroll and stuff, and it looked like he was about to catch it, but he didn't look like he put any effort to catch it and stuff. Like if he actually like hop a little bit, I think he would actually catch it and that'll be end of the inning and stuff. But fortunately enough for him to get a RBI double to make it 1-0 top of the fifth and stuff. The person I don't want to talk about and stuff is the catcher, not Will Smith. It actually hit a RBI single to make it 2-0 top of the fifth. And this was also another communication of in the outfield where it looked like I thought it was going to be catch. Was a very catchable catch and stuff. I thought Ryan Wolfsman actually had a chance and stuff. And then also enough, Tommy Troy got to the ball first and stuff. It was not it wasn't a catch overall and stuff. It looked like it was a catchable catch, but the ball got dropped, and fortunately enough, the person hit it, got a RBI single to make it 2-0 top of the fifth, and stuff. So, and then after that, Ryan Nelson just like looked like, like, hey, like what the heck of that and stuff. Like, I was a little confused enough. Like, I thought Wolfsman was going to like catch that. I was thought he was gonna go for a dive and stuff. I think, and also it was communication and stuff. I don't know why Tommy Troy was coming in as well and stuff. I thought enough of like if it's not nor tear you and stuff, don't call the ball and stuff. And if it's more closer to you, you gotta get to the ball enough. So I don't think Brian Wolfsman knew that right away and stuff, and I thinking it was a little too late. He was a little way back and stuff. He was gonna let it drop, and I think Tommy Troy realized enough of like, oh shoot, like he's not gonna get it. Let me try to go get it and stuff. And I think he just thought enough of, maybe I'll go for it and stuff. And I don't think he realized enough of he's giving off of Ryan Wolfsman at center field to be off, because that's where Tommy Troy was going to come in and stuff. So again, I think it was a little bit communication. It was just a lucky hit from the batter and stuff, and then obviously a little heated from Ryan Nelson enough of, hey, what the heck, we should be out of this inning overall and stuff. It's very tough enough of out it and stuff. I wouldn't totally blame on Nelson or the outfielder and stuff. It's just these are the things that are just gonna happen and stuff. We should get these things out, but fortunately, it just didn't really happen for us and stuff. And basically, now it's like a 2-0 game and stuff. But fortunately enough, this is the positive for the Diamondbacks and stuff, because Corbin Carroll hit a solo home run to make it 1-0 bottom of the 8th. Perdomo with the RBI single to tie the game up 2-2 bottom of the 8th until the time enough in the 9th inning of enough. Like, okay, we got Tommy Troy, Kento Marte, and then Corbin Carroll is the 3 last batters in the 9th inning against Tanner Scott and stuff. And obviously enough of Tommy Troy got struck out and stuff. So it's like, okay. And then I was just like, I was stepping up. Like, I stand up for this and stuff. And then I realized enough of just like, okay, it's the 9th inning, it's a tied game. Marte is up to the plate, and I totally said this out loud. You know, I'm at my house by myself, no one can hear me and stuff, and I speak to the TV where enough I was just like, okay, Marte, this is the time enough to swing at one hit to win the game and stuff. Be the hero of the game. Like, please God for this and stuff. And then I even saw the home runs he had. He has 10 home runs. Give me this 11. Give me the 11th home run right here, right now. First pitch came out of nowhere. Like, I don't think everybody never expected that and stuff. A solo walk-off home run to win the game, 3-2, bottom of the 9th. That is the final score, 3-2. Our record's now 33-29. This is the second time Kento Marte hit a walk-off home run. Last one was his first career, fortunately enough, and stuff. But this is his third time with a walk-off win. How insane. He is dominated. This is our best player, best second baseman in the NL, probably in generation of baseball right now and stuff. And he's like our superstar, like hero of the game. Come on. And he just dominated it. Like, boom, get this out of here, win the game, split against the Dodgers. It was a good time to see that and stuff. And I just like I'm calling it. Like, we need this at this point. Marte can clutch. It's good to see him to do these fun things for this team and stuff. And coming through at this point and stuff, who gives a F about who's the Dodgers and stuff? We're the Diamondbacks. Snake alive, people. Snake alive. That's what we're talking about. And stuff. So it was a good game to see at the end, you know. I literally said those typical words at the TV, just like, come on, hit a home run, walk it off, get your 11th home run, be the hero, and exactly what happened. Cool to see it so much. Progressive of enough, progress for the offense and pitching wise and stuff. We just gotta keep doing it, you know. I understand enough of we struggle here and there with the Dodgers and stuff. Now it's over and stuff. Good time enough to split against them and stuff. This is a very good team for the Dodgers and stuff. You know, it was a very tough way enough to win Game 1 and Game 4, losing Game 2 and 3 and stuff. So just very good games over the Dodgers and stuff. So hopefully they can progress this more against other teams and stuff. We're playing the Nationals next. I know I'm hearing good things about the Nationals and stuff. They're having good record and stuff. They got a new manager this year and stuff, and he's doing so well with that and stuff. They got Jason Wood and CJ Abrams and stuff that are actually carrying the team with that team and stuff. You know, the Nationals, some ways enough, they were okay here and there and stuff, but somehow enough they're doing good today and stuff. So hopefully enough we can show what we can do against the Dodgers and stuff, and then against it to them and stuff. So that's what we want to show and stuff, to show the bat is alive and stuff, and we don't want have a boring batting wise enough of just like we're dead and stuff, because we're not. If they keep going with this and stuff. So just keep progressing, keep having the bat live, keep having that feeling enough of going out there, do your best, do your job, everything, it will work if it clicks and stuff. And today it clicked a little bit, but we got lucky at the end, fortunately enough. And pitching wise, I loved seeing this and stuff. Hopefully we can keep going through this and stuff. Kelly is pitching tomorrow, so it's going to be good to see him against the Nationals and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much of that. It's so interesting enough to see the team clicking so well enough. If you're gonna win these ways enough of it, and if you keep going with this and stuff, this is you're gonna win in any game, no matter what and what team they are and stuff. It doesn't even matter who's at the mound, who's at the plate, who are we of enough the offense and defense and pitchers and stuff. We just gotta go out there and dominate every single time. And so same thing with the other teams out there in MLB. That this is competitive sport. I keep saying that all the time and stuff, because everybody wants to win. Our goal is try to get to the World Series. I just watched Chaz Chisholm Jr. on Jimmy Fallon and stuff, and he said, "What's the goal for the Yankees? Winning a World Series." And stuff. That's everybody's goal for every single team. Every player is going to say that. Every player of it, fans are wants to say it. Everybody, like, we want to see it. Tell the time enough that we see it. That's going to happen, like that's the base of it. We're cannot just say like, oh, we're gonna win the World Series, like even Mike Trout cannot even say that, if Mike Trout definitely enough of saying like, oh, we're definitely gonna win the World Series, because he's lying to your face, like if he was on a different team, maybe, but fortunately enough, he's still on the Angels. And the Angels are just playing bad baseball and stuff. And it sucks enough for Angels fans, Mike Trout himself, because he's, the biggest player on that team and cannot get help from his teammates and stuff. And it's a struggle enough for a team going downhill of that path and stuff. It's very, very hard to watch and stuff. I know Swilly hates it so much. She's glad enough not watching the Angels and stuff, so she can just do whatever she wants the day or whatever, and having different plans besides watching the Angels and stuff. Like have a break, okay? Like I totally understand where she's coming from and stuff. The people from Jumbo and Media, yeah, they're probably stressed because they're working every single freaking day. Like, John Boy is literally dangling on their legs every single time. I'm just kidding. Not every single time. Jimmy is a very respectful person and stuff, but it just, yeah, I don't know. I want to work with them. Can I join? Do you have a job operation and stuff? I don't know how it works. Fortunately enough, I got to live in New York, but I don't because I live in Arizona and stuff. Can I work here and work there at the same time? Can you give me a free pass to get to New York? I don't know. It's just I do need to get a new job, fortunately enough. Part-time job is not helping. So yeah, so you just gotta understand enough of, like, we just gotta go out there and dominate. I think that's the most biggest thing, basically talk about and stuff. I'm going to do this the first time for MVPs. You think about it enough of, like, okay, because every single time I've been picking one person every single time, and it's very, very hard to give out enough for about more people or whatever and stuff. I always do one, and I pick one every single time. This time, I'm picking two people, and the two people winning the MVP together. Because fortunately enough, I literally thought MVP in World Series, there's only one person. 2001 for the World Series MVP was two people, Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling, and they totally deserved it very well enough. I back then, maybe in the 70s or the 80s or something like that, they give like three people for the MVP. Like they totally split the MVP in three people and stuff. So it's just like I don't know how that works, but depends enough of if they totally deserved it or something, or they just had a hard time giving MVPs just a typical one person and stuff, and they think enough of like, oh, this person totally deserve it. Let's put their name in and stuff. So yeah, today I'm breaking my own rules enough of with one person. If I want to do this, hey, it's my video, it's my podcast. I can do whatever I want. Okay, there's nothing about anything for more MVPs. Okay, it's okay. It's okay to have these things and stuff. Why do baseball enough of they do it and stuff, and then cannot have enough of doing any things and stuff? Totally understand that and stuff. So there could be more MVPs out there. And fortunately enough for today is the people really helped his team to win the game and stuff. And those people were Corbin Carroll and Kentrell Marte. These are the people really helped up and claim for today to be the hero for the game. And those are the MVP for today and stuff. Okay, these are my words and stuff. I don't care you disagree with me and stuff. You could say, oh, the other witch and of it and stuff. Marte went 1 for 5. Totally understand that, but he came at the clutch point of being the hero of the game with a walk-off home run and stuff. So you gotta understand from that and stuff. I get Corbin Carroll went 2 for 4 and stuff. He did dominated and stuff with a solo home run as well and stuff. But you just gotta understand enough of these home runs are clutch, and these things happen at this point and stuff. So I just want to give their gratitude of what they did today and stuff. So yeah, that's why I give 2 MVPs today, and I'm not changing it at all and stuff. If you want to see the rest and stuff, here they are and stuff on the screen. I'm gonna show it again because I always enough of if I show on the screen, that shows enough the team is going to progress more and more and more, and you can see other people winning MVPs and stuff. And then fortunately for the people who won today and stuff, there will be more underlined and stuff to show who actually did win today and stuff. And that's fortunately Corbin Carroll. He has 7. Marte has 8. So those are the most 2 people on the team has the most MVPs and stuff because they are dominating. And unfortunately enough, these 2 players are like our best player on the team. So I gotta give credits to them and stuff, and so that for them to help in winning the game and stuff, and I'm glad to see them to come back and be LA. It's what it is, man. Love to see it, and hopefully we can keep going that with other teams and stuff. We just beat a really good team like as the Dodgers. Okay, it's very tough. I hope enough of people actually get swept from the Dodgers. That's what last time we played them. We got swept from the Dodgers. This time we went on a split against them, and that's very tough to do that and stuff. Last time we went for a 4-game series was the Rockies, and we actually won the series over them with 3 wins and 1 loss and stuff. So I understand enough of we didn't get the sweep over the Rockies and stuff. We should, but fortunately didn't and stuff. But those are the things you gotta think about and stuff. But fortunately enough, for a positive way, we did get the win of the series and stuff. Doesn't matter enough for the sweep or the winning of the series over 3 out of 1 and stuff, or 3 out of 4 I meant to say and stuff. But those are the typical things like we gotta really think about and stuff. So winning is hard, and you got to show that more often and stuff. And hopefully the Diamondbacks will absolutely capitalize that every single game. And I say this all the time. Yes, I keep repeating myself every single time and stuff because that's just what they gotta do. They gotta show. They gotta really show what they got and stuff. So that's pretty much of that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.